kukinyesha tusinyeshewe, tuwe salama. Serikali kaingilia, kapunguza gharama. It's finally here, tunahama. Finally, sawa kwa wote. Hata yule mapato ni duni, malazi yopata. Sisi wana Kenya kajitenga. Tuanzeni kujenga. Tusikose mahali pa kwenda. Chukua mawe na simiti weka kwa mabega. Tunajenga. The journey starts with you and with me. Freedom is mimi na wewe ndio wenye nchi. Tujenge pamoja. Tuanzeni kujenga. Tusikose mahali pa kwenda. Chukua mawe na simiti weka kwa mabega. Tunajenga. Tunajenga. Tuanzeni kujenga. Tusikose mahali pa kwenda. Chukua mawe na simiti weka kwa mabega. Tunajenga.
agenda. Tunavuta kwa pamoja. Tunavuta kwa pamoja.
all the people with a dream, different colors of a nation, come together for a win. We share spirit deep within, heartbeat in the rhythm. Different faces of the nation come together for the win.
This is Kenya's Choice 2022, and many thanks for keeping it Citizen TV, even as we keep our cameras and our eyes fixed on the Bomas of Kenya, the National Tallying Center. My name is Wahiga Mwaura, and I'm not alone here in studio. I'm together with...
Naam, bila shaka mimi ni Mashirima Kapombe, tukiwa tunaendelea tu kusubiri tangazo hilo kutoka IBC. Mwenyekiti wa IBC Wafula Chebukati alikuwa anatarajiwa kutangaza rais aliyechaguliwa mwendo wa saa 9. Wakaahirisha hadi mwendo wa saa 10. Sijui kama wanangojea saa 11 ndio iwe the 5th at 5 p.m.
That is the question we are all asking, and Victoria Rubadiri, all eyes of course are at the Bomas of Kenya, and this is after slightly over 14.1 million Kenyans took to the polling stations on August 9th, and their votes taking that journey from the over 46,000 polling stations to now the Form 34C, bearing the final result of the presidential race. 4 presidential candidates campaigned, they debated, and now waiting for this moment of reckoning. But we also have
Jeff Koinange here in the house, folks, and I tell you, it's been a wait and a wait and a wait. The patience of Kenyans is wearing. It's going to wear at some point, because you know, Chebukati promised to make an announcement 3 p.m. It's now 5 p.m.
The choirs can only do so much.
The choir. I think the fat lady has come and sang again. So we're waiting. It's a waiting game.
But something very interesting, Jeff, happened about a little under 30 minutes ago. The chief agent of Raila Odinga, Saitaba Ole Kanchori, called for a sort of impromptu press briefing just outside that auditorium there at the Bomas of Kenya, and said some very interesting things that may shed light on why we continue to wait and why presidential candidates and their agents have actually walked out of Bomas, including members of the diplomatic corps, and are now holding impromptu meetings on different parts of the premises of the Bomas of Kenya. This is what Saitaba said. He said, this election is not verifiable from where they sit. He raised questions with the chairman of the IBC that they feel they do not have answers to. And when the chief agent of Raila Odinga was asked whether his presidential candidate is expected, he said that Raila Odinga will not be called to Bomas until his team has verified the results. I have agreed with them, and these results are contained in the Form 34C, a compilation of Form 34Bs from the 290 constituencies plus 1 from the diaspora vote. And so that's what we know at this moment. Obviously, you can tell that something is afoot for an announcement that was to be made at 3 p.m. Almost 2 hours later, no sign of the commissioners. A lot of activity there, and then this statement by the chief agent of Raila Odinga giving us a bit of an idea of where the dispute may be, and that is what may have caused this particular delay. Thanks for staying with us, wherever you're joining us from in Kenya and around the world. And let me also introduce our guests who are here with us. Bobby Mukangu continues to remain with us, an advocate of the High Court. Thanks for your patience today and just for bearing with this. We want to pick your mind a little bit. We're also joined by Titus Mahanu, an advocate of the High Court. And Titus, I can start immediately with you. You listened to that press briefing. What do you make of it?
Of course, under the Constitution, any candidate that has participated in an election has a right to either accept the results, has a right to reject the results based on how they view and based on the grounds that they feel ought to be put out in the public there.
Okay. What do you think Saitaba was not saying?
As to try and read into his intention,
yes,
it's a bit difficult, but what I can say is I foresee a situation where this election is going to be challenged.
You foresee that, and we have some of the timelines, and we'll be showing our viewers a bit later on what that looks like. But my goodness, this is quite a trend.
Definitely, if the elections are going to be challenged, we are looking at a scenario where the petition challenging the declaration has to be filed within 7 days, and 14 days after filing of that petition, the Supreme Court needs to determine it. Now, the question will be, or it will depend as to how the verdict will come. If the Supreme Court will be able to overturn the declaration, then we are staring at another 60 days within which another fresh election needs to be held.
And of course,
we are looking at probably towards the end of October before we can conclude this exercise of elections.
Nadhani Mkangi, ukiangalia jinsi hali ilivyo pale, baadhi ya viongozi kutoka pande zote mbili walikuwa wametulia awali. Sasa hivi unaona ni kama wengine wanatoka, wengine wanarudi, wengine wanapigana pambaja. Je, inakupa matumaini kwamba kutakuwa na tangazo leo la rais aliyechaguliwa?
Nadhani manake mwenyekiti na tunasema ndio tuseme mwenye shughuli ya leo, Mheshimiwa Wafula Chebukati alikuwa amewatangazia Wakenya na tunaweza kusema ulimwengu mzima, manake macho yanaangazia Kenya leo, kwamba atatoa taarifa ama matangazo yake rasmi kuhusu ni nani ameibuka mshindi wa uchaguzi wa urais wa mwaka huu hivi leo, na hata alikuwa ametaja kwamba hii shughuli itaanza saa 9 mchana. Kwa hivyo nadhani ataendelea na shughuli na atatoa matangazo yake. Tumesikia pia kutoka upande wa mgombea wa Azimio Kenya One wakisema kwamba hawajaridhika na mchakato haswa kuhakikisha matokeo kufikia sasa, lakini hakutoa taarifa za ziada. Pengine kwa upande wao manake wanajua siku za makataa.
Buterevu twagala mbadde nga muterevu twagala okwebaza okuba ng'okyekumidde ku BBS telefina yaffe. Nze Steven Danstan Busulwa, nga bwe twakutegeezeza tukyagenda maaso n'okutuusaako buterevu biki ebigenda maaso mu ggwanga erya Kenya okusinziira ku kifo ekibwa Bomas awali okugattagatta wamu n'okulangirira ebyavudde mu kulonda kuba pulezidenti w'eggwanga erya Kenya nga balindirira okumanya pulezidenti w'omulundi ogwokutaano. Nsooka kwetonda ku lwa telefina nti tulina puroguramu zaffe ze tutaataaganyizaamu olw'okutuusaako bino. Puroguramu zaffe nnyingi era zikyataatagana. Twagala tugoberere kino kubanga kya mulundi gumu gwokka, ate ziri mujja kubanga mweyongera okuzifuna mu kaseera nga bwe kagenda mu maaso. Ku Bomas ekya Kenya embeera yakyali ya bunkenke era nga ebifaananyi by'ova okulaba abadde boogera Luswayiri olumu n'Oluzungu naye nga waliwo okusika omuggwano obutakwatagana bulungi. Mujjukira